a nasza asociacja pracy nie ogranicza się jedynie do sprzedaży polskich produktów, ale i dzielenia się know-how i doświadczeniami z polskiej transformacji systemowej. Z tego miejsca chciałbym zachęcić stronę kenijską do ponownego rozważenia otwarcia swojego przedstawicielstwa w Polsce. Jak pokazuje przykład ambasady RP w Nairobi, obecność w kraju przyjmującym istotnie zwiększa dynamikę relacji bilateralnych i to nie tylko w wymiarze politycznym, ale również w zakresie pracy przedsiębiorców. Przed naszym dzisiejszym spotkaniem miałem przyjemność w imieniu ministrów odpowiedzialnych m.in. za finanse i rolnictwo podpisać dwustronne międzyrządowe porozumienia o współpracy. To kolejny dowód na to, że zarówno Polska, jak i Kenia dostrzegają wyjątkowy charakter naszych relacji. Jako przedstawiciele administracji mam obowiązek, by dokładać wszelkich starań, aby ułatwić naszym przedsiębiorcom nawiązywanie i kontynuację współpracy gospodarczej. Szanowni Panowie Prezydenci, polsko-kenijski dialog gospodarczy wysokiego szczebla jest nowym formatem w naszych bilateralnych stosunkach gospodarczych. Chciałbym z tego miejsca szczególnie podziękować szanownym Panom Prezydentom za udział w dzisiejszym wydarzeniu, bo bezsprzecznie potwierdza jego wysoką rangę, a także wagę, jaką przywiązujemy do relacji między naszymi krajami. Na koniec chciałbym również pogratulować reprezentantom firm Digital Vision and Turkey zawarcia porozumienia dotyczącego rozpoczęcia ogólnokrajowych szkoleń zawodowych w Kenii z wykorzystaniem polskich rozwiązań technologicznych w obszarze virtual reality, a także w firmie drogowej Farada na rozpoczęcie współpracy z kenijskim partnerem. Mam nadzieję, że to wydarzenie i rozpoczęte dziś rozmowy przełożą się na efekty w postaci lepszego zrozumienia wzajemnych potrzeb, a także na konkretne kontrakty. Dziękuję za uwagę.
Thank you very much, Secretary of State, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Your Excellency, with your kind permission, permit me to now invite the Cabinet Secretary of Investment, Trade and Industry, Honorable Rebecca Miano.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, businesses represented here today, decision makers in the room, the presence of two presidents, the President of the Republic of Kenya and the President of Poland, amply attests to the gravity their excellencies attach to this forum. And what a delightful time to re-engineer the long-running bilateral ties between Kenya and Poland and to deepen economic ties between our two nations. In today's gathering, I will very briefly take you through the value proposition that Kenya gives to investors, and this has been discussed in detail in the business forum that was held last year in October. And that is to answer the question, why Kenya? Number one, Kenya is a stable economy with a political and microeconomic stability. We are globally competitive, a robust financial system, and access to raw materials, not only from this country, but materials from Africa. And number two, we have a young, trainable, and productive workforce, the second best English proficiency in Africa, 80% literacy rate, and 70% of the population in Kenya is under 35 years. And number three, we are a leading and a vibrant democracy in Africa, a key player in the regional and international geopolitics. We are members of the East Africa Community, COMESA, the tripartite team, and also Africa Continental Free Trade Area, which then attracts a huge market with about 1.3 billion people And number 4, your investment is safe in Kenya. There is constitutional protection of property and non-discrimination of investors. 100% repatriation of profits and interest is allowed, and a strong dispute resolution mechanism. Number 5, we are a logistics and innovation hub of the region. We boast to be the home of the 2nd largest port in Sub-Saharan Africa and Africa's number 1 startup ecosystem. And Kenya is really the Silicon Savannah. And number 7, we are leading Africa's green transition. 92% of the power consumed in Kenya or produced in Kenya is renewable or green, and there is a special tariff for those that are investing in the special economic zones, and recently we gazetted 5 economic zones. And we can safely say that the Creator endowed Kenya with great weather, pristine beaches, and scenic tourist attractions. And finally, recent ratings. Kenya was rated 29th fastest growing economy in the world, and number 1 in Africa on startup funding in 2023. And from the FDI intelligence report, Kenya was rated number 1 in Africa with greatest investment momentum in 2024. And the UNCTAD 2024 preliminary report says that Greenfield's project announcement improved due to strong growth in Kenya, among the best 3 in Africa. So Kenya held the first edition of the Poland-Kenya Trade and Investment Forum, like we have been told, towards the end of October 2023, which was a platform for business to business and business to government engagements, enabling the exchange of investment ideas and many other valuable ideas. And one of the outcomes of the 2023 session, a Polish company, Dig In Vision Virtual Training Center, will be signing a memorandum of understanding with Toolkit for Skills and Innovation Hub, a Kenyan company, to further the engagement that has started with training of welders using Polish technologies to attain German certification. And Toolkit equally has a range of private sector companies that advise on in-demand skills and provide jobs to the skilled youth. And we will invite we will invite Toolkit to do a small demo. Welcome, karibuni sana.
Show you how we are actualizing your vision. We have partnered with this company. We have trained 500 young men and women as advanced MIG welders. MIG welding is the highest in demand in the world today. The US is short of 400,000 MIG welders. Europe is short of at least 100,000. We would like to partner with your government to train at least 10,000 young men and women as advanced MIG welders so that you can start to give these to your fellow presidents and say you indeed have skilled Kenya's youth to global standards. The technology works with this device, which is a headset, Oculus goggles. This is the handset that simulates a welding handle, and the software is in a computer. This is what we have used to train youth in Miritini slums in Nairobi, and this, Your Excellency, is how the French government has given 11 work permits to 10 Kenyan men working today in Laval, and the first girl, Mwanajuma Hamisi, left Kenya on 1st of December 2023. We appreciate and we hope that with this technology we can scale it across TVETs and be able to meet your vision. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Let us give a better applause to Dig In Vision Virtual Training Center.
Your Excellencies, we invite you. We check out if you are good welders. So just one word about technology. We are Digging Vision from Wrocław. We've been partnering with Toolkit for over 2 years. And now we will start our national project in Kenya to bring this technology wider. And we can really train, actually here, welders to get them ready to work in Europe and also in East Africa and Kenya in shipyards. So you will see all this just in a while, and you will be really, really amazed. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, and to signify this momentous occasion, we request them to sign their MOU witnessed from here by their excellencies and all of us. The VR technology will be rolled to 15 public and private TVETs in Kenya to train 100 instructors and 10,000 youth as internationally certified welders in 3 years. And this initiative will prepare Kenya for investment in green manufacturing without importing skilled welders, and it will make Kenya's youth welders globally competitive. Thank you very much for signing the MOU. Excellencies, the second firm, Farada Group, is a leader of the Polish drone market. The group specializes in the production of medium and long-range vertical takeoff and landing unmanned aircraft, which can land almost anywhere without a dedicated airstrip. They will be making a presentation to Kenya Wildlife Service. KWS is a state corporation here in Kenya and has the mandate of wildlife conservation and management. To support their monitoring duties, they will be testing the drone from Poland, and the drones offer solutions for the logistics in medicines, blood, samples for laboratory tests, vaccines, and even for energy. There will be inspections of power lines, pipelines, and supervision of critical infrastructure. It will also help in surveillance of borders, national parks, agriculture, and other sectors. In this case, KWS will be deploying the drone from June this year in their surveillance activities as they execute their mandate. Your Excellency, I now invite Farada and KWS to symbolically present the items they have.
Very good.
Thank you very much, Farada and KWS, and we wish you successful engagements. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my humble duty and pleasure to invite His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, to make his remarks and move the next part of the program. With applause, we welcome His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Sorry. Thank you very much, Minister. Your Excellency, my good brother, President Duda, and your distinguished delegation, members of the business community, both from Kenya and Poland, good afternoon. Let me take this opportunity once more on behalf of the people and government of Kenya, again, Mr. President, to welcome you to this business forum. I understand that there was an engagement last year with our two teams from both investors, business people, and the private sector, and they did consummate two MOUs that set up the infrastructure necessary for business to engage in a less bureaucratic environment and to give both Kenyan and Polish business people the opportunity to look at the investment opportunities, investment options that they may want to consider. Looking at Kenya as a very strategic location in our region, as was explained by C.S. Miano, that we have from Kenya access to the East African Community Market, access to the tripartite market of SADC, EAC, and COMESA, and of course we have access to the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. These are opportunities that are important as we celebrate 60 years of relations between our two countries. His Excellency the President has made this historic visit to Kenya, the first ever by a Polish president. And Mr. President, let me tell you, as Kenyans, we are excited. We don't take it for granted. We believe that this will be yet a turning point in the relations between our two countries, and that this is an opportunity to escalate the relations between our two countries and to give our business people the impetus and momentum for them to build a stronger relationship, unlock the potential that exists in many of our sectors. In the agricultural sector, for example, which is a backbone of our bottom-up economic transformation agenda, we have investment options, we have trade options. Many of the products that we farm in Kenya, from coffee, tea, avocados, and many other nuts and other products, are products that can find market in your country. And let me take this opportunity, Mr. President, to thank Poland for supporting Kenya as we worked on our economic partnership agreement with the European Union. Mr. President, as you are aware, at the close of last year, we became the first country in East and Central Africa to sign the economic partnership agreement between Kenya and 27 EU countries. And that would not have been possible without the support of Poland. And let me take this opportunity on behalf of the government and people of Kenya to thank you, Mr. President, for that much valued support. Your Excellency, in a space where climate change is ravaging the world with all the effects it has, from drought on one end, floods on another end, and everything in between, I am very happy that today we shared in the earlier meeting the opportunities that exist in water harvesting, water storage, and the technologies that the private sector can help in mobilizing for us to unlock the great potential for dam construction, for water storage in Kenya, as we focus in climate resilient farming and agricultural productivity. And I am looking forward to the private sector here exploring those opportunities. My Minister for Water is here. They have already instruments that will enable the private sector to be able to invest in water storage and water harvesting. We now have an instrument called the Water Purchase Agreement that can facilitate the private sector to be able to lock in financial resources to invest in that sector. Your Excellency, you and me are firmly united in the understanding that the fundamental objective of this endeavor is to actualize the promise of stability, security, well-being, and shared prosperity for the people through inclusive economic transformation by creating necessary conditions for wealth creation, for job creation, and also for eradication of poverty and the reduction of inequality, and making sure that we have a target on sustainable goals that we've all set out to achieve. We have to be, as a public sector, intentional and deliberate on making sure that the private sector have the requisite space to operate optimally with less bureaucracy, fewer hurdles and hoops to get across. And we will continue to engage so that in the public sector we can continuously eliminate challenges that the private sector face in their quest to invest to do business, to trade, and to connect our countries. Your Excellency, I am proud to announce that the partnership between Kenya and Poland fully meets all the requirements for us to take this to the next level. We are quite fortunate in the sense that each of our countries is abundantly endowed with what we need from each other. We have, as you have heard, a robust, highly technical, highly skilled, professional labor force. And I'm very happy that we are signing the agreement between our two private sector players on the training and upskilling of our workforce and human capital to be able to meet the highest standards of labor across the world. And I want to confirm that the ministry responsible for Tibet, and I see the director here, I am going to expect that the 15 Tibets across Kenya who will benefit from this assignment and training trainers and also training the 10,000 young people in our Tibets and to equip them with the skills necessary for them not just to work in Kenya, but to be a global workforce that meets every standard that is required globally. Let me also take this opportunity to ask our members of parliament, because we already signed the economic partnership agreement, that as parliament comes into session next week, we expect that parliament will take up their responsibility to ratify the economic partnership agreement so that we can unlock the market that it gives to us in all countries in Europe, including Poland, but also to move us to the next step of trade in services, where we can unlock the potential of trade in labor across Europe using Kenyan expertise. Your Excellency, earlier we witnessed the signing of MOUs, 2 MOUs on agriculture and also on matters of finance. And I know you are aware that we got a facility from your great country of about 10 billion shillings to do matters of milk coolers across Kenya. We already have almost 35% of the coolers in country already installed, serving farmers. We are working on the extra 65% because it is our intention to increase our dairy productivity, especially milk productivity, from 5 billion liters to 10 billion liters in 5 years. I know the question that is exercising in your mind, and that is why we signed the MOU on matters to do with finance and tax, because you are wondering why our tax as a percentage of GDP is 15%, and tax as a percentage of GDP in Poland is upwards of 35%. We have a long way to go, and we will learn how Poland has managed to assemble its resources so that we can borrow less and raise our resources more. These MOUs, Your Excellency, creates an attractive business environment and investment climate, which will elevate our positioning as a country and give both Polish, European, and global investors a sound opportunity to invest in our country. Your Excellency, this dialogue we are having here, in my very honest opinion, is a golden opportunity to shape with you the compelling reasons which make Kenya an irresistible trade and investment destination for Polish business. First of all, our agenda focuses on agriculture, food security, and agriculture is special to us because we get 70% of our raw material from there. It employs a large part of our human capital, and it produces the largest portion of our exports. So we will be looking at Polish investors, looking at this sector as a sector they can look at the value addition chain, the agro-processing chain, and also manufacture of agricultural machinery, implements, and other gadgets. And we will be looking at opportunities of partnership between both Polish and Kenyan investors. Your Excellency, owing to our geostrategic location, it is our expectation also that Polish companies can consider Nairobi and Kenya as their investment hubs for them to look at the Africa continent from Kenya. And we have built all the ecosystems necessary for that to happen, as was explained by CS Miano. Let me conclude, Your Excellency, by saying that Kenya is a global champion of climate action and recently hosted the inaugural Africa Climate Summit, where African leadership spoke to the urgency of undertaking radical changes into how we define and implement development to conform with climate action. And as you have heard, we are 93% green in our grid, and we have major investment opportunities. We have an extra almost 15 gigawatts of geothermal energy that is ready for exploitation, about 60 gigawatts of solar, and we would be happy to work with Polish companies, both to unlock the potential of this green energy resource, but to also green your industries. I think it is time Poland considered some of your heavy industries, relocating them to Kenya and using our renewable energy to get green products. And it will add premium to the products you are producing at the moment. The products you are producing using other sources of energy. If you produce them using green energy, they will have premium pricing. So, Your Excellency, let me again say, today is the beginning of our historic journey between our two countries and members of both the private sector, the business community, the investing community. And it is my hope that we will unlock unprecedented opportunities to achieve both economic transformation in our country, Kenya, and in your great country, Poland. Ladies and gentlemen, around this round table, this square table, I want to say thank you very much and my very best wishes, Mr. President.
Ekscelencjo, wielce szanowny Panie Prezydencie, Wielce szanowni Państwo ministrowie, Panie i Panowie, szanowni Panowie ambasadorowie, szanowni Państwo członkowie parlamentu, wielce szanowni Państwo prezesi, przedstawiciele biznesu z Polski i z Kenii, wszyscy dostojni przybyli goście. Bardzo dziękuję Panu Prezydentowi za te miłe słowa pełne zachęty, optymizmu i wiary w to, że sukces nie tylko jest możliwy, ale że ten sukces będzie. To jest dla mnie wielka przyjemność być dzisiaj z Panem Prezydentem i z Państwem podczas inauguracji polsko-kenijskiego jej początku jest wspieranie obecności
in the support of the presence of Polish entrepreneurs in foreign markets. That is why I'm delighted that my visit in Nairobi is accompanied by such a robust economic component and an adequate representation of the Polish business. Thank you very much for your presence and for your coming here. I would like to express my warm gratitude to the representatives of the public sector and entrepreneurs for participating in our event today, which, and I'm absolutely convinced, will contribute to qualitative strengthening of the Polish-Kenyan dialogue. Ladies and gentlemen, cooperation of our economies is growing dynamically, and that for sure is a reason for satisfaction. Nevertheless, we have to make efforts to ensure that the potential of this cooperation is used even stronger and even more effectively. I hope that this visit, this exceptional moment, as we both said with Mr. President, after 61 years since the establishment of diplomatic relations, this is the first visit paid by the head of Polish state here to Kenya. And I do believe that it is going to be a very strong impulse, which soon will be amplified by the visit of Mr. President Ruto in Warsaw. Today, I invited Mr. President to visit us in Poland. I hope that this will create the synergy and give you additional opportunities to invest, but first and foremost, additional possibilities to join efforts with your partners in Kenya. The fact that the potential of cooperation is vast is confirmed by recent Polish economic missions to Kenya, during which study visits were held of those entrepreneurs who are interested in cooperation from sectors such as IT, construction, energy, or
inwestycji i handlu, która już w 2017 roku otworzyła swoje pierwsze na kontynencie afrykańskim przedstawicielstwo właśnie tu w Kenii. Chciałbym, żeby ten sygnał był jak najbardziej czytelny. Polska, polski rząd,
Poland, the Polish government, the Polish state, and Polish business circles are very strongly committed, also financially, to boost our bilateral business relations. Both Polish people and Kenyans, two proud, hardworking, and creative nations, deserve to have better conditions of their cooperation, and Polish and Kenyan entrepreneurs deserve to have more opportunities to establish contacts and develop their businesses. I believe that our actions will open up opportunities for the representatives of Polish business on the Kenyan market and the investment perspectives on the Polish market for entrepreneurs from Kenya. In this context, I'm very happy that during the official part of my visit, memoranda of understanding was signed, which should translate into forging even closer economic relations between our two countries. Your Excellency, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I had numerous conversations with entrepreneurs, and I know that Polish business sees Africa as an important place for investment and development of technological innovations. Kenya is for Polish companies of ICT sector an extremely attractive partner, among others, due to one of the most stable paths of economic development on the African continent. It is also important that Kenya has such a strong position in the region and that it has a big economic market. In this context, Poland, together with its technological achievements, including cybersecurity, and with its rich experience of transformation, has a chance to play a significant role as one of the partners in Kenya's development. Other also promising areas of our cooperation is the agri-food sector, encompassing also technologies increasing the effectiveness of agricultural production and innovative green technologies. I am pleased especially that Kenya is interested in protecting and the conservation of nature. Poland has a lot to offer here, just like in the area of providing drone technologies. We have at our disposal technologically advanced products and innovative services which are conducive to solving concrete, many times complex environmental problems. At the same time, the products and services which Polish companies offer are competitive in terms of price, quality, and efficiency. In offering technological offer and scientific offer to our Kenyan friends, we are proposing a partnership formula. We are coming to you with the offer to
ekspertami oraz z wykorzystaniem miejscowych zasobów.
We expect there will be the transfer of technologies and of know-how. Distinguished Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, relations between Poland and African countries have always been based on respect and understanding of our mutual interests. We are not burdened by a colonial past, neither by history of oppressive relations. We have always had good relations with African nations and African states. I believe that you will agree with me when I say that this is a good foundation to build strong bonds in the spirit of mutual benefits. Poland also, or maybe in the first place, understands through its own experience the importance of sovereignty and self-determination, appreciating the efforts made by the African countries who fought for their independence. This makes us credible when it comes to building joint dialogue on global issues, especially also in the topic which is extremely difficult for us and very sad, which we experienced and which we keep experiencing. I'm speaking about the Russian aggression against Ukraine. The Russian aggression against Ukraine violates the existing international order, leading to energy crisis, economic crisis, and humanitarian crisis, which is felt also here on the African continent, which hit us. In the first place, it was an energy crisis. It was also connected with the fact that Russia blocked gas supplies to Poland. That presented a huge threat to our industry and also to a large part of the Polish economy. Luckily, we managed to avoid this crisis because we had an insightful policy. We managed to diversify our supplies, and today we can get gas from different directions, although for dozens of years the only direction of supply was Russia. I wish to stress that Poland is interested in developing the strongest possible partnership relations with the countries of Africa, based on open and sustainable multilateralism and on respect for international law. In strengthening relations between trusted partners, it is important to me, especially if we look at the collapse of the global security architecture. That is why we are offering to you today, to our Kenyan partners, to develop economic relations between our states across many different sectors in the spirit of mutual respect and mutual benefits. Let me take this opportunity and thank Kenya for supporting actions in the defense of the free world. Even more so that not all countries in Africa support this point of view. Thank you, Mr. President Ruto, for promoting this agenda, among others, by raising these important topics in the UN General Assembly. Distinguished Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that today's Polish-Kenyan high-level economic dialogue will be conducive to establishing new relations between our countries, and that it will become an important element driving our trade cooperation and investment cooperation. I also count on fruitful conversations between Polish and Kenyan companies and institutions. I believe that these discussions will help us to identify the areas of cooperation with the highest potential, and that soon we will move to implementing concrete projects. Let me thank you very warmly for organizing our meeting today. I'm absolutely delighted that here in Nairobi, Polish entrepreneurs have an opportunity to meet and share their experiences with their Kenyan partners. I believe that thanks to this meeting, new business relations will be established, that there will be trade contracts entered into, and that new people-to-people links will be shaped. I also hope that in the future we will have an opportunity to host you in Poland. I hope that perhaps you will come together with Mr. President Ruto as a big Kenyan delegation, and that we will be able to show you on the spot, on the ground in Poland, also the economic potential of our country. Ladies and gentlemen, I wish you a lot of ideas for common projects which will strengthen the relations between our states and nations. Thank you very much. I wish you a fruitful meeting.
Thank you, Excellency, for setting up and a markedly friendly business environment. We have a few minutes where we can take 2 questions or interventions from each side. It's a good opportunity for anybody with a question. Over to you.
Business panel. My name is Wojtek Wilk. I'm the head of the Polish non-government organization, Polish Center for International Aid, and for the benefit of the excellent development of the Kenya's fire brigade services and fire brigade capacity. I will have an honor of hosting President Duda tomorrow in the Fire Brigade College in Kiambu that has been established thanks to the funding from the Polish government in 2018. And to date, we have trained over 60% of Kenya's firefighters, thanks in collaboration with TVETA. So TVETA is very much the Thank you very much. The TVETA firefighting training is very much made in Poland, Excellency. Also, but has been thoroughly tested. The fire brigade prototype has been developed thanks to the funding from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Poland, but has been tested thoroughly and is easy to be fixed and maintained. We have trained and partnered with fire brigades from Bungoma to Marsabit and from Kwale to Lokichokio, where I have lived in many years ago. So this is in addition to those possibilities, Excellency. There is also a ready-made collaboration ready for Polish-Kenyan cooperation in the domain of fire services. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that comment. Another hand. at the back.
Your Excellencies, my President, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, good evening. So mine is an appreciation for what is happening here. I have traveled to Poland 3 times, and the excitement is that Kenyans are exactly like the Polish people. So I love the way we work together, and there's so many things we observed, but this has finally come to fruition. We're excited. So my questions to you, my President, sir. Are there any incentives put in place to encourage Polish companies to set up in Kenya? President of Your Excellency, President of Poland, are there any other incentives that you have in place to encourage the Polish people to come to Kenya so that Kenyans can also leverage on technology? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We appreciate that it is important for us to position Kenya as a destination for foreign direct investment. We intentionally have put in place mechanisms under the Ministry of Trade and Industry to support investors who want to invest in Kenya. You just heard that we have had one special economic zone for the last 30 years. This year, we've just announced the setting up of 5 new special economic zones. We are unlocking the potential in Dongo Kundu, in Mombasa. I'm happy to report that we have sorted out all the challenges that had slowed down the progress in Dongo Kundu. We can now confidently confirm that Dongo Kundu will be rolled out. The 3,000 acres in Dongo Kundu will now move into the next phase. In fact, this evening, I will be traveling to Japan, specifically on matters to do with Dongo Kundu and the unlocking of the investment opportunities there. We have also 4 other special economic zones around the country. CS Miano already has the first 2.5 billion shillings to develop those special economic zones. As you have heard, we are also looking at special tariffs, special incentives in every special economic zone. We are looking, for example, in Thika, how we want to develop that as a pharmaceutical hub, and therefore we will be providing specific incentives for pharmaceuticals to set up, because with the advent of COVID, it became obvious that relying on imported pharmaceutical commodities can be a very dangerous engagement. And the manufacturing capacity in Kenya, in the region, and in our continent is now a top priority. And therefore, we are looking at those investments. So there will be, under the Ministry of Trade and Industry, there will be different incentives for different categories of investors. We are also sharpening our human capital to make sure that the skilled labor that we have meets the highest standard of labor anywhere in the world. It is the reason why we have increased our budget, both for TVET and university education, by an extra almost 50 billion from this year, because high quality labor, highly skilled professional labor is a critical component that will drive industrialization and manufacturing. And we are looking at it not just for the Kenyan market, but we are also looking at it for the Polish market. and I have had a conversation with His Excellency the President on how we can make the highly skilled professional Kenyan labor available to help Poland with the human capital gaps that they have. So there is a detailed brief on the different incentives, and we're very happy to work with the Polish investors who are here, and business people and investors, and we will continuously refine those opportunities and those incentives to make sure that they reflect the wishes of the market at any one time. Mr. President.
Szanowni Państwo, Ekscelencjo Panie Prezydencie, odpowiadając na to zagadnienie poruszone przez Panią, powiem tak, no my tutaj z Panem Prezydentem dzisiaj przez naszych gospodarek. Jest w każdej sytuacji.
Like in every single case, also here, each of our countries has got its specific conditions under which it is functioning. So let me tell you this. My compatriots present here today know perfectly well that Polish society is getting richer and richer. We are also having more and more companies which are developing such a big potential in their functioning that their owners, their boards are starting to think very seriously about acting not only on the Polish market, but they are thinking about expanding their activities and going out not only across Europe, other European countries, not only European Union countries, but also to go into other continents. This is also connected with the constant growth of wealth in the Polish society. This is directly connected also with what Polish people can do every day. So I think I don't need to tell any one of you here in this room that in Poland, when one thinks about Kenya, one thinks about unique nature with this great global attraction which makes Kenya famous, which has made Kenya famous, because Kenya simply is considered one of the most beautiful, nature-wise places across the globe. That is why it is a dream of many people. Also, many Polish people dream about coming to Kenya in order to meet excellent nature, which you take care of, and which was the topic also of our discussion today with Mr. President. We discussed how to develop modern technologies, but in such a way that this nature is preserved, that its value is not weakened by the dynamic economic development of the country. But another point I want to make, I think one of important tasks which we can do in order to promote our mutual investments is to show, especially to my compatriots, the attractiveness of potential business opportunities in Kenya. To the Polish people coming to Kenya, very often they run their own businesses and they don't even think that they could get interested in business here or doing business with Kenyan companies. To them, we need to show these opportunities and think this is today one of the most important tasks, facing those who want to promote the creation and deepening of relations between our two countries. For sure, and I have no doubt about it, we are able to offer to Kenya a lot. Over the last more than 30 years, we have made a huge economic leap, a huge progress. I can say it out loud, and I'm saying it very proudly, that we did a very hard work building the potential of Poland, building also the wealth of the Polish society. But in the first place, we did a lot of reform. reforms. We transformed our economy. It was a centrally steered economy. It was a state-owned economy, account for the majority of the sector which employs people. And today, this is the driver of the Polish economy. So I believe that we can not only be a place where you can see how different technologies function, but we are also a place where you can see how to build your own business from scratch and how to develop using the possibilities which are presented by the place and the time. So I encourage you very strongly. I encourage our Kenyan friends. I encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to visit Poland. I hope, as I mentioned before, that you will accompany the presidential couple, your president, in that visit, that we will open an economic forum, but first and foremost, that there will be an opportunity to pay a series of study visits all across Poland in order to see how entrepreneurship works in Poland across different sectors. I encourage you, I invite you to come. Thank you.
Afternoon. My name is Kiprono Kitonya. I'm the chairman of the Nairobi Securities Exchange. I just wanted to take the very short opportunity to introduce an opportunity to Polish investors. And thank you, Mr. President, for inviting President Duda and his high-level business delegation. There is a unique opportunity, not just in Kenya, but across all frontier economies right now. Many frontier capital markets are suffering from flight of US dollars back to the United States of America. So that in itself presents a very unique opportunity for investors from Europe, investors from Poland to come and invest in our markets. We have 61 listed companies in Kenya. We have very many products, including bonds, sovereign bonds, private sector bonds, and about 35 to 40 billion euros in investable assets. I think there couldn't be a better time for US-Polish investors to look at Kenya as a potential. We are seen as the most innovative market across Africa. We have green bonds, we have real estate investment trusts, and this year, working with our president, we have many companies coming to market, listing, and I'm sure by the end of the year, we'll have over 70 listed companies. I think this is important because right now, the value of companies on the market is well below the real value of those companies. So there couldn't be a better time for you to bring your euros here, invest in our listed companies, invest in our bonds, which are yielding as high as 18% annualized return on interest. At the same time, Kenya has a free foreign exchange regime, and you can, as the minister had said earlier, you can repatriate 100% of your profits and your returns from our markets. And the company this year that has given the highest return was run by Madam CS, and it's called Kengen, amongst many other companies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We know there is a lot of interest in the discussion, but due to a very tight schedule for our excellencies, we will continue the conversations at our level. But I also want to announce that we recently revamped our website at Kenya Investment Corporation, or KenInvest, and the investor journey and incentive packages can be found in the website. And for now, we want to thank our two distinguished guests, their excellencies, for giving us time this afternoon, and we wish them God's blessings as they lead our two nations to deeper and greater heights. Thank you very much, and now I give it to